Hello, everybody. This is Shravana Baraju. I am giving my take on Wimbledon 2023. I know quarterfinals are currently going on, and the first day of quarters is done, and we know who won. Djokovic beat Rublev in four sets, and Sinner beat Safiullin in four sets as well. So they'll play both Djokovic and Sinner will play in the semifinal for the first time in the semifinal. Djokovic beat Sinner in the quarterfinals of Wimbledon 2022 last year in five sets. So this is what I expected. When I saw the draws come out, I thought Sinner. There are really only two players that I thought would challenge Djokovic after seeing the draws, or even before the draws. Three players actually on any surface. Doesn't matter if it's grass, clay, or hard courts. Number one, Alcaraz. Number two, Sinner. Number three, Rune. Um, I don't think there is. I can't think of anybody that could actually pose a threat to Djokovic in his current form. Even though he's older, much older, he's already won 23 Grand Slams. He's the pretty much the number one in terms of number of Grand Slams won. Um, Hey guys, welcome back. I'm sorry I got interrupted. I got a phone call, so I had to pick it up. So I paused the video. I'm re-recording now. So where were we? I never thought Djokovic had any challengers really, other than Sinner and Alcaraz in Wimbledon 23. I wanted to do my top five prior to the tournament, prior to the commencement of the tournament, but I never really got time and I traveled out of town. So, anyway, long story short, I couldn't do it. But I'm not gonna now. It's easier because we're already a couple of players are in the semifinals and the other quarters are set. So I'm not gonna say who would have been in my top five, but I'm gonna go and say it anyway. I had Djokovic winning the tournament, even though I was very hesitant. I had Sinner number two, Alcaraz number three. I had Medvedev as number four and Rune as number five. These were my top five picks. It wasn't Tsitsipas, it wasn't Rublev, it wasn't Kachanov, it wasn't Berrettini or Kyrgios or Ruud. I didn't have any, not Hurkacz, Dimitrov. I didn't have any of these players on my top five. It doesn't make sense to do a top 10 because you're basically just listing out a bunch of elite players there. So I think top five is fair. But in my heart, I believe that Sinner or Alcaraz would probably play the finals this year. I still have a shot at that. I think that's what's going to happen. I was hearing the analysts talk about Sinner and Djokovic's matchup in the semifinal this year in Wimbledon 2023, and I think it was Patrick McEnroe that was saying that, okay, how much did Sinner improve since the last meeting in Wimbledon 2022 between Djokovic against Djokovic? And he said he still doesn't, like Patrick said, Sinner still doesn't have the tools to beat Djokovic, even in this year's Wimbledon. Won primarily because of his fitness. I know he's the older player, but still, I think that was the reason why Sinner lost. Sinner has been having some fitness issues, I think, in the last year or so. That includes Wimbledon of last year. I think he's worked on his fitness. He can still improve a lot more. But I think someone who took Djokovic to a five-set match in Wimbledon quarterfinals last year, a young player like him, he has all the tools. And I've seen Sinner play against Alcaraz. I've seen Sinner play against Djokovic in the first two sets. Some people may say, yeah, I mean, what happened to Sinner in the last three sets, final three sets against Djokovic in last year's Wimbledon? I watched the match. I watched the highlights of the match, and I can tell you that yes, he looked like two different players. yes, Djokovic seemed like he dominated Sinner in the last three sets, but of last year. But Sinner didn't look like the same player. I didn't think he had the legs, and he had a fall, I think, in the third set or fourth set, whenever that was. He may have tweaked something. I'm sure he didn't give that excuse. But just looking at the way he played, I thought he was probably not the same guy who played the first two sets. This year, I'll be extremely shocked if I won't be shocked, but I'd be disappointed if Sinner is unable to take Djokovic to five sets again. And I think this time, if he does that, I think Sinner will have a chance to beat Djokovic in the semifinals of this year's Wimbledon. Now, let's assume that Djokovic beats Sinner in five sets. If Carlos Alcaraz, the player who between the quarterfinal between Alcaraz and Rune, that's going to be extremely interesting. I'm going to give Alcaraz the edge. Rune, I don't think is ready to. He is obviously This is Rune's first quarterfinal in Wimbledon. It's also Alcaraz's first quarterfinal, but Rune. To me, seems more like a clay court player. He has a long way to go. I'm sure he's going to improve, but I think Alcaraz has a slight edge on a grass court at this time, and I'm gonna bet on Alcaraz to beat Rune in four sets. So if whoever plays between Medvedev and Eubanks. Eubanks has a shot at Medvedev, but I think Medvedev, with his experience, will somehow find a way to beat Eubanks. Eubanks had a great run. I'm happy for him. Hopefully, we'll be able to see him more in the hardcourt season. And next year and the following years, but he had a great run in this Wimbledon, but I think his run ends against Medvedev. So Alcaraz and Medvedev in the semis, in the other semifinal, Djokovic and Sinner in the first semifinal. If Djokovic beats Sinner in the semi and Alcaraz beats Medvedev in the semi and Djokovic and Alcaraz reach the final, I'm going to bet on Alcaraz, to be honest with you. I think he has all the tools to beat any player. It doesn't matter if it's Djokovic or any other player. I think he has all the tools to beat any player, on any surface. That's my take. If Djokovic can somehow win against Sinner and beat Alcaraz in the final, hats off to him. He deserves the 24th Grand Slam. And he's obviously the GOAT, and it's debatable. I would make a case for Nadal for sure, and I could make a case for Roger Federer as well. But obviously Djokovic has the record for the most number of men's Grand Slam titles already. But if he beats both Sinner and Alcaraz, hopefully Alcaraz in the final, then hats off to him. I will agree that he is the greatest of all time, and I think there shouldn't be any debate after that, in my opinion. But as of now, I think I'll stop here. My pick for the finals is Alcaraz versus Djokovic, and I think Alcaraz wins in four sets. That's my pick. All right. See you next time, guys.